I know we can do better than that, because you know what? We're all feeling a little bit down this week. The world's feeling a little bit down. So let's wake up the world this Thursday evening, right across the four corners of it, even though it's round. Good evening, friends! Yay! Good evening and welcome to Littleport Christian Spiritualists, your Thursday night home for love, upliftment, hope and joy. And also, if you go down the route of the Christmas song, tidings of comfort and joy, and I'm feeling very comfortable tonight. So there we go. Once again, proving that you don't need to have specific items of clothing in order to do what we do. Just be comfortable, be relaxed, and be uplifted. And so, to tonight, this Thursday night, where we welcome back a very good friend of ours. And actually, it's not very often I say this. This is the second time you've served us since lockdown closed, is it?
What, here?
Yeah. Or is this your first time back?
I ain't been here for 2 years.
He ain't been here for... It just shows how much notice I blooming take of the rotor, don't it? First time back in 2 years. But of course, he's been looking after us online, which is why it feels like it's been no time at all. But it's nice to have him in the flesh. Give a big Littleport welcome to Martin Quigley! Now that's what I call a welcome. Well, friends, it's Thursday night, of course. It's healing, it's mediumship. Wait a minute, what? There's a third thing spiritualists do, isn't there? What? Oh, yes, philosophy. How could I and would I forget? Friends, you know that I always start the evening with a word or two about the week that's been, about the things that we've seen, about what Spirit wants us to talk about. But what we also do at the beginning of every service is open up in prayer. So let's join together as we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under your banner of love and hope and friendship. We thank you for the opportunity to witness the proof and the truth that life is eternal and that we can indeed lift that veil and reach out to those that have gone before us. And as I place this service in your care and keeping, Great Spirit, we make the statement as ever that everything we do will be in the name of love, in the name of truth, and in the name of light. Amen.
Amen.
Interestingly enough, I was watching a TikTok earlier about the word amen. And quite rightly, my newest TikTok friend pointed out that amen actually derives from Egyptian words, amen ra. And it is an Egyptian word. That's how it ended up in the Hebrew and in the Aramaic and all the other texts, because, of course, we know that the Jewish people were once slaves of Egypt. And, of course, that gets you thinking. But one of the wonderful things that I noticed on TikTok is that all the way through that video that the young man had made, there was a cat mewing. And of course, anyone who knows anything about the Egyptians, they love the honey and they love the cats. They worship cats. They adored cats. They held cats on a pedestal. Now, for me, I sneeze every time I'm near a cat, but it doesn't matter because the synchronicity is there. And life is so full of synchronicity. That's where we get, as mediums, our philosophy from, the synchronicity of the week. One of the things that I've noticed this week is that everyone's feeling, frankly, a bit pants. I know I've been feeling a bit pants. I know you guys have probably been feeling a bit pants. I know all of our lovely friends watching at home, either now or in the future, see how I got out of that one and remembered to do it. I know that everyone's feeling a bit pants because the weather's been changing, life's been getting in the way. You know, everything happens and everything is caused by life, because life is a wonderful, wonderful gift, but it can also be quite a heavy weight around our neck because of everything that it comes with it. Now, the Great Spirit, the world of spirit, everyone up there who watches over us, leading us on our path, all know this, so they send us little tidbits of joy and upliftment, of laughter, the best they can do, because we live in a world of free will. We live in a world of free will, so intervention of a divine nature has to be limited, because how can you call yourself free if some great big being turns up every 5 minutes and lifts your bottom out of the fire? Hello! Well, it's been a long time since we were gate crashed, but there you go, never mind. I'll replay it back later and find out what they said. So where were we? Ah, yes. Life throws you curveballs every now and again, doesn't it? But the fact remains, my friends, that you just carry on and you get on with it. Because that's all we know what to do. But as much as we're in a world of free will where we can't be pulled out of the furnace every 5 minutes, there is a type of spirit that can interfere in earthly affairs. The living spirit. Us. We can get involved, help out. Before the service started, we were talking about how service in spiritualism is the most important thing. We live to serve. We work because we wish to serve. Not to lead, but to guide, to serve and help and support and assist. One of the principles of spiritualism is, after all, personal responsibility. So we take a personal responsibility of looking after each other. 1 second. All right. Oh, well done. Synchronicity, you see. And that, of course, got me thinking. And as I opened the cupboard door, as I normally do, to get my jacket, something fell out. And I thought, I'm being told to bring it with me. My bishop's crook. You don't see it with me very often. It was a gift from a friend on the occasion of me performing a blessing for his wedding. And he gave it to me because very close to that was when I first became a bishop of the New Christian Spiritualist Society. I've never been one for titles and trimmings and trappings. But this is really quite important. You see, the further along the path you go, the more you learn and the more roles and responsibilities you take on, the higher the risk of you thinking of yourself and your own self-importance. In spiritualism, there's a word bandied about quite frequently in relation to that. It's called ego. So what is the most important thing of this? It's a reminder, when you get it and you get the role of a bishop, that we are shepherds, not leaders. We're guides and supports. It means that you are reminded that as a shepherd, your role is to look after the flock, help the flock, guide them along a similarly safe path and support and help them, but never treat people like sheep, because that is the opposite direction to what we're supposed to do. I love that crook because it's simple, it's basic, but it reminds me that we are here to guide and serve, not rule and lead. And yet there are so many people out there that feel that faith gives them a right to tell people how to live their lives, to tell people what they must do, what they must not do. They give guidance and direction, but also threats of eternal damnation, of if you do this, God will not love you. Now, my God is a God of love, of kindness and compassion. Doesn't sound like the kind of thing that a God of love would do. Yes, there's an important part about being disciplined and being responsible, but surely it's easier to help someone to be good by demonstrating goodness as an example. Now, there is a particular passage in biblical scripture, and I'm referring to it quite a bit tonight, I know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It depends on the day. I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one reaches God except through me. That's translated from another language, and sometimes we don't always get the meanings right. Take the Lord's Prayer, for example. When Jesus gave it, they were asking, Joshua, as how we would call them based on his actual name of Yeshua in the Hebrew. They said, Joshua, how do we pray? And he said, pray something like this. And suddenly that something like this guide, this direction, this idea of this is how you tick all of the boxes with a prayer, suddenly became, you must say it like this. But also what Jesus was saying, what Yeshua was saying, what Joshua was saying, Joshua Carpenter, if it had been born 500 years later, he was saying the best way to reach God is to live your life like I have done. Be kind to people. Do not tolerate ignorance. Do not tolerate rudeness. Do not tolerate hate. Be nice to one another. And yet that message over the last 2,000 years has been used to harm individual groups of people, massive groups of people. Where's the spirituality in that? Where's the hope in that? Where's the love and the logic in that? But people will say, Nick, there's a difference between faith and logic. No, there isn't. Faith and logic. Faith sustains us when all around us is just basically gone to poo-poo. Reason guides us. But when reason abandons us, we need faith. So I will give you another physical example. Faith and reason are like the shoes on your feet. You can travel further safely with both than you can just the one. We need to be reasoned because that's what we were given. We were given reason and understanding. People call that the original sin, a gift from God, knowledge of good and evil, knowledge of right and wrong, knowledge of what we should do. No wonder people are afraid of it if suddenly we're told that our knowledge is the one thing that gave us the worst start in life. The truth, my friends, is that that was not the first original sin. And I'll tell you why. I heard a phrase that I don't necessarily agree with, but it did get me thinking. Of course, eating of the forbidden fruit of the tree of knowledge was the original sin, but how much better would the world have been if they hadn't have drawn an opinion about it? Opinion doesn't come into it. That's not something I entirely agree with, because free will is all about opinion. But forcing your opinions on other people about what's right and what's wrong, that's the biggest faux pas, that's the biggest mistake, that's the biggest error, and that is the most mortal betrayal of free will. When you force your opinions on someone, you're saying you're wrong. When you force your opinions on someone when you don't agree with something, you're saying that's bad. Faith. But logic would dictate, hang on a minute, that person's not harming anyone or me, not doing anything to harm anyone else. So why is it wrong? We were given eyes to see, ears to listen, mouths to speak, and a mind that could rationalize and reason the difference between right and wrong ourselves. You put your hand on a fire, it burns, don't do that again. You walk down the road without your shoes on, you step on a stone and it hurts. You don't do that again. This is why faith and reason are like the shoes on your feet. You do get safer journeys with both than just one. Use your minds that you were given. Use your ears that you were given. Use your hearts to feel. And never accept anything that you are told without thinking about it and making your own opinion count. Because everyone's opinions count. And I tell you how I know this, because I will now tell you the greatest secret of all. The molecules and atoms that make up your bodies are the same molecules and atoms that make up this hall, that make up this village, this county, this country, this world, this galaxy, this universe. The atoms and molecules in the stars are the same molecules and atoms that make up your physical body. We are all star stuff, the universe made manifest, trying to understand itself. What a beautiful gift and a wonderful thought, because we're all unique, we're all individual. Now, I know it's not a real candle, purely and simply for health and safety purposes, and nobody trusts me to play with fire because, there might not be a village hall left. But the point of the candle, it's beautiful, it's elegant, it's relaxing. The molecules of that candle, as simple as it is the same molecules that make up us and the stars. You snuff that candle out, you'll see another one day that looks a bit similar, but you'll never see that flame again. Because we are all unique in our own way, but we are all united of being star stuff. And the universe trying to figure itself out. So all of our opinions matter, because each opinion you have is a thought that the universe has had. Isn't that scary? So we all need to walk that path together. And yes, one will go over a fence, one will go through a gate, one will go to the corner of the field before it gets to the gate. But if we all stand together, if we all go along a similar path, not the same path, but a simple and similar path, just like a shepherd keeping each of his sheep safe, we all keep each other safe. And the best way to do that is to live in love, to live in hope, to live in peace, and just be bloody nice to one another. It's not that complicated. Respect each other's opinions, whether you disagree with it or not. That's fine. I understand that you have a certain viewpoint. Not mine, but I respect your right to feel like that. It's not so difficult to say, is it? And yet the whole world feels the need to rip each other apart at the seams, because that's what humans do, because we are born of animals. Our body is animalistic in nature. But what's inside is spirit, the living spirit. And that's how I know I'm coming to an end, and you don't need to pick that up and hook me around the neck and get me off the platform. We are the living spirit. And if we keep telling everyone, as we do, that the Spirit of God is love, then there is only one route that we can take together, and that is in love. And unconditional love at that. And the reason we say unconditional love is because you cannot put a condition on unconditional love. Thank you all for listening, and God bless you all. And now the most important thing, because it's all about safety first. I'll put my shoes back on properly now, rather than just tuck the heels behind my ankles. Well, friends, now is the time in our service where we invite someone to give a reading, to test the spirits, as we say. Now, when I first started developing, we were always told, use the reading to guide you down the path of what your philosophy should be. Now, me being an awkward what's-it and was trained to test the spirits, thought, well, philosophy is mediumship just as much as aunts and uncles, nans and granddads, guides and helpers. Thank you. Mustn't forget them, I'll get in trouble later. So let's test them out and see if the reading follows the philosophy. And so tonight's reading is going to be given to us by Samantha. So, friends, give it up for Samantha. Wherever you like, I'll just move it.
I think this tied in. This is called Never Stop Being You by Terry Bruchette. Never stop caring about the little things in life. Never stop dreaming and don't give in to strife. Never stop wondering, are we on our own? Never stop thinking, has your spirituality grown? Never stop building bridges that lead to better tomorrows. Never stop trying and don't give in to sorrows. Never stop feeling amazed at the beauty that surrounds you. Never stop hearing the music and don't give in to the blues. Never stop pushing away negative thoughts that make you feel sad. Never stop... I've lost it. Oh, sorry.
Breathe.
I'm so sorry. I knew that would happen. Sorry, this is not very good.
Isn't technology wonderful?
No. Because I couldn't print it off before I came. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've lost it.
Joanne, would it be in your history?
Oh, this is so embarrassing. I'm so sorry.
Stay calm.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Never stop pushing away negative thoughts that make you feel sad. Never stop looking at all the miracles we have had. Never stop loving the ones you hold dear. And never stop giving and don't give in to fear. Never stop smiling, don't look forward, but look forward to each new day. Never stop shining in your own special way. Never forget that all storms will clear. Remember, brighter tomorrows are always near. Thank you.
I spoke earlier about synchronicity. Well, listen to the message. Never stop. Never give up. Not only does it tie in, it tops it off, and there's also a message for when things go poo-poo, keep going. In the words of Churchill, KBO. Everyone here, Google it when you get home. Everyone at home, you can Google it now, but do not tell anyone what it means. Unless you already know, of course. Anyone who's watched Doctor Who will probably know what it means. Well, friends, when things do go a little bit caca, as Al Calavici used to say, actually, Al Calavici, an invisible to everyone else friend watching over Dr. Samuel Beckett's life, bit like a spirit guide, really, isn't it? Because mine actually likes to twinkle and glow a little bit like Sam did. But I digress. Help, assistance, and upliftment, also known as healing, because that's what we're going to do now. We're going to send out our healing thoughts to all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort. And, you know, I wasn't joking. The wonderful thing about technology is that I can now join in because that minute of healing is accompanied by a little bit of twinkling of music. So it tells me when it's time to say that word that we were talking about at the beginning, Amen. And we will, of course, begin it with the healing prayer. Now, friends, send out your thoughts to anyone you know who's in need of healing. I'd like to add to that list tonight Kathy, and Lynn, and Ruth, and Simon, and all of their families. And you can, of course, ask for yourself. So let's join together as we say that healing prayer. Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, here we bring unto you all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort, be they sick in mind, body, or spirit, that it may please thee to heal them. This we ask for those that we know, those that we do not know, and those who have no one to ask for them. We ask for them now. Amen.
Amen.
Well, friends, I think he's been silent long enough. I think he's probably ready to bring the world of spirit down into this hall and show us that there is life after all. Oh dear, I'm starting to rhyme now. That's always a bad sign. Friends, please, if he should come to you, answer in a clear voice, yes, no, don't know. I hand over control of this service now to both Martin, to Jack, who's with the technology, and of course, Mandy, our camera lady, camera person, whatever you want to call it. She's the one who moves it, just to make sure that we can still see Martin. I will move the microphone, but don't worry. We don't turn the camera on you, and we don't turn the microphone on you. But of course, be uplifted, have a wonderful evening. And should Martin come to you, answer in a clear voice, yes, no, don't know. Not because he needs it, but because we're all nosy. And of course, give him a big, and again, Littleport welcome, as I hand over tonight to Martin Quigley!
Good evening, everyone. Nice to be back in the village hall after so long. A bit of a wonder, I do tend to go along. Yeah, it's nice that we're getting back to some sort of moment, rather than just being online.
Yes.
Okay, guys, you all know how this works. It's a three-way conversation. Never forget that. Spirit to me, to you, and we'll see where we go. So, bear with me. Let's see what we're feeling. I know that I've got a gentleman that's joining me now, and he seems to be the character. I've got to say that. The immediate reaction, and it's not a lot to go on at first, but often my first meetings are like that, was he's on about cuckoo, and I feel it's like a cuckoo clock. So either there is some memory of a cuckoo clock with this man, or I do feel I'm coming around to you. Do you know, for some reason, I just feel...
I do apologise, everyone, but yes, I know exactly who that is.
Right. He immediately get my attention from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So there must be some sort of memory between you and this man regarding a cuckoo clock.
Yes.
But I think there's a double meaning to it as well, Nick.
Correct. Yes.
It's not just the cuckoo clock. Would you understand? I know you're quite extravagant and out there. Would you understand this gentleman at times would have a similar way to him? I don't feel it's all the time, but he would have been known to you for being a little bit within the time spent together. Would you understand?
Yes. I will help you with that a little bit. He's quite influential over me.
Yes. Right. Would there be any reason as well why I'd be seeing like bison and linked to like the Native American Indians as well?
Yes.
You understand why I'm getting that as well?
Yes.
Some reason he's bringing that in as well. And I just know that knowledge was passed down to you from him.
Yes.
You understand?
Me too.
It's the knowledge that was. You understand? People wouldn't quite understand him like you did.
Yes.
Because I feel that people would have known him to be a certain way, but within your auric fields together and the time you spent together, there was far much more that people didn't discover to this man.
Correct.
Really weird. Would you understand why I'm being reminded of Doctor Who?
Yes.
Well? Because when I immediately said that there's far more to this man, he's used the analogy of me stepping into the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you understand the TARDIS is quite small on the outside. When you go inside, there's so much more to it.
Yes.
And I feel that this man is very much like a TARDIS.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Expect weird.
Would you understand that the lady that's in the spirit world that is with him, there's a female with him in the spirit world, and it's something that you would have asked yourself, are they together, have they met? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does actually.
Right, okay. And I just don't feel that they're super close, but I feel like it's two people that you know that you wish would have met up in the spirit world.
Yeah,
you understand?
Yeah.
And as long as you know it is, I don't know. I know there's a reference to this. And it's really weird. I'm gonna go with it because there might be more to it. There might not be. Do you know the Eurythmics? Who's that girl running around with you? So would you understand why I'm getting that? Who's that girl running around with you? So this must be. Oh, I feel there's two as well. I feel there's a younger lady and there's an older lady that's coming in, older than this gentleman, generation above as well.
Yes.
That's joining in now. Am I right in saying, Nick, and I know we've met a few times over the years and whatever, but I don't know that much about you. When you were younger and in your younger, maybe even in your 20s, did you understand being into things like the mythical side and like board games and card games related to that?
Yes, very much so.
You understand?
Yeah.
So like, I don't really know what I do. And I know there's quite a lot of people that are interested in this side. But there must have been a memory of him around you. You understand that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Francis is stepping in as well. You understand? Francis is stepping in as well. So is this? I don't know. I'm getting loads of you coming round me now, here, Nick. Yeah, sorry, because the guy that you first connected with is my guide.
Right.
So he would bring everyone with him.
Okay.
And you wouldn't know a thing about him until you realise who he is.
Okay. So there must be a Native American connection to him.
There is.
Okay. That's why I'm going back to the reference there. I know the young lady is fine in spirit and fine in voice.
Thank you.
Would you understand why
Yeah.
they've just said, and fine in voice?
Yes.
Okay, fine in voice. And I know your dad was a fairly quiet man. He liked to tuck himself out there. But I just know from the world of spirit now as well that he's settled right in and is perfectly content where he is, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
to you
it
now.
does. Yeah.
Blending in with everyone.
Yes.
Blending in with everyone. And I know that you would have more than once come through your mind, is he all right, as in blending in with everyone?
Is he rowing with everybody? Do you mean you can say it as it is? Yeah, I get what you mean.
Some sort of mate connection as well.
Yes.
You understand why they're giving me mate?
Yes.
And I think that's coming from the older lady,
Yes.
the generation above. So it's to do with
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah.
I just feel they're really content in the spirit world. It feels a nice, happy gathering here this evening, and I just know that they had to be heard, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
And if that can give you any sort of comfort, then it's my absolute pleasure.
It really does.
And with that, I'll leave their love and say God bless.
God bless you. Thank you.
That's really weird. Okay. I feel I've got another gentleman that's joining me now. But within that, I'm not sure if he's a bit of a joker here or not, but would you understand anyone in the room or anyone in spirit that had a thirst for horror films? And for some reason, I'm getting Anthony Hopkins, and it's like Silence of the Lambs. So, really weird in the church, Silence of the Lambs, and a man that wants to be known for that, and a bit of a joker as well. There you go. And I also feel a gentleman that was, if you told him something, you knew it would be kept quiet. Because I absolutely feel this man was like a bit of a secret squirrel within him. So I'm not sure if any of that is gobbledygook, but I know I've got a gentleman that's trying to connect with me now. He was an absolute tight-lipped fella in life, so if you had to tell him a secret, it would be kept quiet. And something to do with Anthony Hopkins, or it could be something based off that to do with the same year or whatever, but there must be some sort of memory of horror films or something to do with that. Does that make any sense? Anyone? Really weird. So no one knows, gentlemen in the spirit world, I can either be you or him into the horror films. And I know I'm being shown Anthony Hopkins, so there must be someone in here. I don't normally get it without being relevant.
Possibly. I'm not very good on Anthony Hopkins films.
Right. So I don't have the name. Anthony, Tony is relevant. Horror movies. And I actually feel that this gentleman very tight-lipped, so he could have actually been like a policeman or served in the army. I just feel that there's, I'm not saying that is the truth, but I just know there's some sort of like real aspect of him. If you told him something, it would get secret. So what do you understand about this now?
the horror films
Right.
is, I haven't horror films, I don't do horror.
Right.
But I used to be teased quite a lot about
By this man.
it.
Right. Okay. That would make sense. Yeah. It's just trying to put the puzzle together. I've never seen it before, have I? No. You look remarkably. Are you related to an injury somewhere? You've got a similar look at the matter of being when she was young. I couldn't be completely wrong there.
We're all family in spirit, of course.
Yeah, true. Okay, where are we going with this? Would you understand this man? I feel quite well dressed for him, and certainly he wanted to, let me be correct, but he wanted to be smart dressed. And would you understand he had this little tweak of charm time to time? Does that make sense? I don't think it was all the time, but I know he could turn it on if he needed to. If that makes sense. I don't know why I'm getting it. Do you know the actor Nigel Hayes? For some reason I'm getting it in my mind's eye and I'm just picking apart bits from him, from what he's trying to give me. And I appreciate you're a lot younger than this, but for some reason he's bringing me back to the 1980s. Does that make sense? You're born in it? I thought you were born. So I know I'm bringing it back to the 80s, like 1983, 84 time.
84.
Okay. So conceived 83 or 84. Okay. Is his father in this room? Was there three of you in the house, youngsters? You understand?
At one time, I was.
Three of you in the house, youngsters. So I was getting 3 and 2, 3 and 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
3 and 2, 3 and 2. Using a movie scene, do you know Gremlins?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the gremlin out of the three of you?
Well, that was probably me.
Because you've got, in Gremlins, you've got, yes. I was going to say, you've got the nice, there's at the three of you, there's one that was the Gizmo, and there's one that stood in the middle, sort of like more influenced with you. You understand that? And then there was you that would cause a bit of chaos from time to time.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have to get wet to cause chaos. You understand? I just know from spirit side of that this gentleman, whoever he is, I'm not getting at the moment, he's roaring up. You understand? That he must have had quite a wicked sense of humour.
He did.
Makes sense. So Andrew.
I did.
Andrew, I don't want to refer to mention Andrew. Well, I've already seen Father Ted. No, Father Ted,
Yeah.
TV show, so I don't know the name of the reference. So,
It's a joke I have with one of my brothers.
what, the Father Ted thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And would you understand the April connection as well?
Yeah.
Because he's bringing me to April. I feel it's two reasons. I feel there's a birthday anniversary in April connected. Would you understand a memory for you in April where things opened up? Do you? Particularly?
Not specifically in April.
What are we getting there? I'm going to go with that completely wrong. Did you understand that when you were younger, having some sort of relationship through something?
Yeah.
That started around there or something?
Yeah.
It's not a feeling. And things open up.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm just listening to what I'm getting. And I know he wants to wind me back as well into March as well. Because he's showing daffodils on the ground and stuff like that. So, if you can take that. Is there something as well at the moment you're currently getting involved in that you're looking to expand on? Because he's telling me there's something you're trying to get involved with at the moment. I don't know what it is, but he says at the moment you're a novice within it, but you want to be a novice in time. Does that make sense? Is this spirit related?
Yeah.
So, am I right in saying that you've had occurrences through your life with spirit? Would that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, so I'm seeing within my mind's eye, going back, you've had occurrences with spirit throughout your life, and you've thought about it, pulled back, thought about it and pulled back, and now you've got your little witch's cauldron that you're now adding more to the mix. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're wanting to actually see what will come out in the cake.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I was going to say, I received some new tarot cards, and with it, I also received a little witch's cauldron tea lamp.
well, this man in the spirit world is very on the ball. Even if we can't always work it out as mediums straight away, as long as you guys, hence the 3-way conversation. So, very much loved and very much missed by the spirit side of life. That's his message to you. Although it seems you all the time, very much love, very much missed. Keep on the right road. You understand why he's saying that? Like, if we go back 10 years, you could have diverted off the junction a little bit, got a bit of a rocky road. So he's just referencing that. Stay on the right road and you'll be fine. Would you like Tina?
No.
Maybe I'm moving on. Anyway, I don't even know who he is, and sometimes I don't hear it.
Who would you?
He's a bit of a wisecrack at times as well, you understand? Yeah. But I'll leave his love. You're welcome. There's nothing to do with Tina Turner between you and him.
He's the dog.
Simply the best. Mucking around. That's what it is. And he's winding me up till the end. Because as I come over here, I thought, what's this Tina about? And he went, just a Tina Turner and he's simply the best. And that's why I thought. As long as you know what we're talking about, that's fine. Okay. But I think that was not just that, is it? I get split off. It's like a fork in the road, we just said. So the memory of Tina Turner is simply the best, but also it's credit to you. Right. I feel I've got a couple that are stepping in together. And I feel this couple died fairly close together. It was almost, I'm just seeing in my mind, it's almost like I'm getting arrows. It's almost like 2 arrows hit head on. Where are we going with that then? I feel I've got a couple here, and man and wife, this is what it feels like. And I feel that they died very close to each other. It could have even been on the same day or only days apart. And I also feel that within the relationship, within the circle of people, I feel there's someone who's involved in a serious car crash as well, like a head-on. Does anyone know anything to do with that at all? Oh, really? Do you understand the car crash?
Not with the couple. There's a couple.
Separate? Yeah. So the couple that passed very close together. And a gentleman in the car crash. Would you understand that?
It wasn't a gentleman in the past, no. It was a different driver.
Gentleman driving, female. Younger. Yeah. Maybe they're still with you for some reason.
I was going to say they're not getting rid of them because once the door's open.
Ah, okay. Well, normally I just let come in when comes in, but
Yeah.
I just know I've got the husband and wife here now as well. Just pop, hello.
Yeah.
I don't need to know as long as you do, and so to do with this car crash as well. If that makes sense to you. And I'll ask them to step back to someone else now. Right, I've got a lady and a gentleman here. I know the gentleman. Would anyone understand a man in the spirit world who loved Toad in the Hole? And I know that this was made for him, and this is the initial opening statement. I've got a gentleman here that loved Toad in the Hole, and his lady used to make it for him, and he loved loads of gravy on top of it. And he's quite a soppy fellow on the quiet as well. That's what I feel. Anyone know a gentleman that loved Toad in the Hole, specifically? And on the quiet, he's quite soppy. Yeah, am I back or you here, Nick? Are you still here? Really? And is this the same gentleman all along, is it?
It's the gentleman and his wife that are in the spirit.
And he loved the Toad in the Hole.
Yeah.
So they're not letting me go. They've come through and there's me trying to go, it's all right, I'm going to move on now. And he's going, no, you're not. Okay. So he's all about the Toad in the Hole. He used to love it, loads of gravy, and his wife used to do it all.
Sort of.
But it'd have been known for that, it'd have been one of his.
Oh, yeah.
We must move on. It's lovely that he's joining us. We must move on. Starving, I could do it with Toad now. But anyway, I'll ask him to move on, but very good. Obviously, you're laughing, Nick, for some reason. Can you see all this going on and playing about me this evening?
Sometimes, yeah. I was just trying to help.
Okay. No. Okay. Right. Here now, Susie or Suzanne being called out, and I've got a feels like I've got a gentleman now that's joined me, and I just know that I'm not sure it's him or yourselves. Love, what do you call it? TV programs where people are on benefits. Does anyone watch that? TV programs where people are on benefits. And I feel this gentleman's in the spirit world, and I feel with him, I feel that he was incapacitated towards the end, if that makes sense to anyone. And I just know there's this aspect of you watching the program, and I feel this gentleman towards the end would have had to have state help. That makes sense to anyone, so you understand? Anyone else in here? I do feel I'm going this way. So, the man in the spirit world, no, I can't watch it. Programs like that. And the ambulance service ones or whatever else. So you can understand you watching these programs and fascinated by them. But there's a serious side to it as well. So I just know, would you understand within you and your family having sort of drawn on help in time as well? Because I just know it's a serious case. You know, we can watch people on the TV that are going through this. It's fascinating to see how they cope, how they have to manage, and you only put yourself in their shoes, and you think, I'm good. Not with what they're given and what they're expected to live on, and it's that fascination there. So I know I've got a gentleman here now that is referencing this, and I know that we're talking that there, and I just feel within. You had curly hair in the past?
No.
Who's the lady with curly hair?
My mum.
And there's referencing long curly hair. So you understand that. So fairly long is curly hair. Yeah. His mother, his son.
Yeah.
Is this father? I understand. I just know now he's referencing the lady with the curly hair. And it was almost like I was reflecting you. So that makes total sense of his mother, but she's got the curly hair. I understand why he's given me, I'm not sure it's the name, France, or something to do with France.
I know why he's giving France.
You do?
Yeah.
So the memory of something to do with France. As long as you understand it, just beams into my head and I go, sometimes I know what it means, other times. As long as you know, it's him, he's here. And I'm going to go back to what I initially said with him, and I just feel with him that within you and the family, there's been times where it's been pretty good, and there's been times where you needed help. You understand that? And I just know that I understand that these you've learned over the years for what others can do for others. I understand. So, am I right in saying that you've done like food bank stuff and you've dropped off stuff to the food banks and stuff like that? That makes sense.
I've had to use a food bank in the past.
So you've done it. You've done this. But within that, I feel that you've done stuff yourself to help. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I initially saying is when you've done a charity stuff yourself, because you've learned through life that not everyone's got it rosy.
Yeah.
Okay. When I said that, would you understand the dry rose?
A dry rose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you stop them, and it's like a dry rose.
Yeah.
Do you understand why he's giving that?
It's because what I normally put on his grain.
A dry rose.
Yeah.
Well, we see it, obviously, the suicide love. You're an Angela as well. Right, there we go. So who's the female that went just before him? Is it either the female?
Janice.
But you understand the female that went before him?
Yeah.
Good. Normally I can think of the names. It might just be records. Was she cremated?
I don't know.
I just know there's a female that passed before Father that said you know.
I know all coaches.
Is there a memory of you and your father burying something in the garden? I'm not talking about another human being. Either a goldfish died.
Yeah, we had lots of pets.
You understand that?
Yeah.
But you understand being a young girl
Yeah.
and being out in the garden. And I feel it's a bit dusty as well. Do you understand it in the time it'd been like late afternoon, early evening? And I just, or it might be very early morning, but I just feel like it's a little bit dusty. Like. And I can see you there with Father trying to send off.
There were so many.
Yeah.
Well, that reason having killing animals when I know.
Yeah. Why did you give me only fools and horses?
Because we loved it.
Because as I was with you in the garden and you're young, he's getting a little bit emotional now, okay? And it's when Rodney and Hassan got married, and it's the wedding cake, and it's the actual record holding back the years. He's given me that for you, and it's not just for the only fools and horses. It's actually how incredible and fast time's passed it's been done for him. Because it wasn't that long ago in his mind, even that little girl in the garden with a little shovel of spade trying to get rid of one of the loved ones of the animal. There's something he's really pleased about now. So there must be something going on around your mother at the moment that's actually been some sort of good news of late. Do you understand? Or there's some news you're waiting on. Not talking with a lot of you, not talking. What do you mimic? Delport at times.
No, not really.
I'll tell you why I'm getting it, and it's just my analogies and how they're using it. If you can work it out, he's just here, and he's all of a sudden gone from being quite heartfelt, holding back the years and the good times we really know. I just know that you absolutely love that period of life when you were sort of like between the ages of 4 and 8, 4 and 10. You understand why? Not that you were a bad person when you were a teenager and whatever else, but I just know he wants to remind you at that time they were some of his favourites, going back to that garden time and all the silly little things that he showed you and you intertwined together. It's much harder. But then he's gone suddenly, and I don't know why, into this humorous, and you know,
Because he's trying to make me laugh because he knows I get a bit choked up.
right, okay. I think there's more to it than that. I really think there's more to it than that. It's something that he's very happy about that's happening, and us mediums can always be wrong, and we often are. But I don't like saying hold on.
No.
Maybe from here in another year's time, you can go, oh, you were absolutely diabolical. Or you know what? But I know Father's very happy anyway. There's a little bit of advice. He wants you to pick yourself up. Understand why? Don't rest on your laurels, and you need to move forward now. And there's something going on, what you've got in your heart that you want to push on and do, but you haven't got the courage to do it. That makes sense? And he's giving you a little bit of turn. Okay. I'll see you when I see you.
Used to say that.
Did he? Exactly what I just heard him say.
Yeah.
I'll see you when I see you. Until then, do your best.
Thank you. Probably better go because
You have to feel his emotions yourself now. He just said, "Oh my God."
Thank you.
God bless.
About 10, 15 minutes.
Okay. Right, I'll try something a bit different. As a medium, I don't mind putting an egg on the face, I really don't. I'll try anything in the spirit world. And if it don't work, we'll try. If they can come through in no different shape or form, we can do it whatever way. Is there anyone in the room that I can work with in whatever form or way you want to do it? It can be a question, it can be psychic, it can be a connection. You just tell me who you want, the name on the relationship, and we'll try. If it don't work, it don't work. Is there anyone there?
I'd like to connect my granddad, Walter.
Walter. So immediately, it doesn't do that, but when I hear Walter, a lot of my family come up with all Irish. I was born here. And
I'll stop you there. He is Irish.
We do this game week in, week out, and a lot of the time we're just getting mugged off.
Yeah.
Literally. But I just know I was thrown to Ireland, and where my family come from, a lovely, beautiful town on the seaside, just on the edge of Cork and the Waterford, it's called Lowe, and there's a hotel there called the Water Hotel. Water only got potatoes in it, too often. Who's been doing the potatoes around you? So I was coming away from that, but there's something to do with either a memory.
Yeah, I'm always down
Either a memory of being with him, digging up studs, or something to do with that, with the fork. Would you understand with the fork, the pitchfork?
Yeah.
And would you understand you being quite feeble and putting it in the ground? That makes sense? So I just feel it would have been there. And I just know he's smiling away now to do with this, where you were there, you were giving it a bit of the big and can I help you? You understand that? As a young grandson would do.
Yeah.
Give it here, granddad, let me help. Pain in the arse, you understand? You understand? And from his higher side of life, loving it and looking back at all the memories, a bit like the lovely lady did. But it's the memories that we take with us. And I just know that grandfather, something very insignificant in a way, is massive to him. Just this little time spent with you. Mucking around, I could say. You understand grandfather had quite a bit of a fun way to him as well. You understand him being quite sharp. So he could be quiet, and you could do something, and he'd just kill you on the spot. He'd effectively mug you off, and you'd be like, I just know him, very quick-witted man, good sense of humour, and would struggle in an argument with him. Not that he wanted to argue with him, he'd struggle, because I just feel that he had this very good. And would you understand why I'm being shown like something to do with a bicycle as well? Being significant.
He couldn't drive the car, so he would have motorbike.
I just know that this I think of riding that is very significant for this man. And then we'll stretch on that. Would you understand you with the bicycle when you were young?
You'll understand.
Have you got knee problems? Any knee problems?
Not.
So let me go back there. There's something here. I know we all did it when we were young, but did you ever come off your bike, but literally, and graze up
All the time, yeah.
I feel quite, you took the skin off.
Probably a few times.
Okay. And do you remember Evil Knievel?
Yeah.
Because you used to have little, little wine
Yeah, and then go around.
Lovely. So you was a late 60s child.
Maybe 70, yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing about 69.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra. Is it anything I did it my way? Is that Frank Sinatra?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could be getting someone else in now because that was the song or some funeral.
Okay. I just feel there's five. There's him and four others. There's two men to the side of him, and there's two women in there. Okay. I know that the reference to Frank Sinatra, I did it my way. If you can take us to the
Yes.
song, that's perfect. And would that be associated with one of the gentlemen that's there as well?
Yes.
So it is.
Yes.
Okay. I just feel as I'm coming off there, and also, do you understand, I'm not sure that you or grandfather did, but you both do it your own way. You're not told. You understand?
Probably up with it. Yeah, probably.
And I feel that there's this little bit of grandfather in there. It's very similar with the mentality side of it. That makes sense. Which is only a good step.
Yeah.
You understand? So little canned Schweppes. It's like gin and tonics.
That's what we were having.
It was him. He just said Schweppes.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? I like this one. He's having a drink for you. He's having a drink for you. Oranges and lemons. Did he have a rhyme?
Yeah. You could sometimes not understand what he was saying to you.
He's gone off.
Yeah.
He's gone off on one, but it's oranges and lemons. It's almost like he's trying to do a rhyme, but I can't keep up with him. Yeah, the ones you have at Christmas, you've got the little sugared oranges and lemons. Just going for them now. Would you understand the December connection into this? The December connection, would you understand it?
Just saying me.
You understand? As I'm brought to Christmas, I'm wound back to December.
We got Christmas.
I feel there's more to that. You sure there's nothing else around Christmas time?
No, you just think you did it for Christmas because you got the family, the thing.
Yeah.
You could only get together Christmas in December.
So would you understand the very late, sort of like 20th November going up into early December period for some reason?
That's the only thing I can think that he did with Christmas.
Do you understand the late in the spirit one of them? So it's doing late November.
That would be her birthday, yeah. That would be one.
Late November?
Yeah.
That's fine. I just know I'm being dragged back.
Yeah.
That's grandma.
Yeah.
Okay. I use music for me and films and whatever. So I'm going back to the future now, the DeLorean. So I could be totally off here now. Is there something within you? I don't feel as much, but I think there's one instance or something that if you could get in that DeLorean car and go back and do it again, you do this one thing different.
I think we've all but yeah, sometimes
It's got to be one thing specifically. I'll leave you with it. It could be personal. I just know he's referencing.
I think we all do, but I think you're heading one way, you know, that's all you've done.
I don't think that's what it means. Who's the problem solver? Is that you? Because he's now he's giving me laying stuff out. It's almost like working out on. I don't know that you like to logically you work through things and work it out. I just know he's good. And you must be quite good at your job, because I know that grandfather's giving you the thumbs up for you're no slouch. That makes sense. No slouch. But I know he's giving you credit for what you've done with your career, and I know that I know he's 2 generations past, but I know that would have been important to him that you give it your best anyway. And I really believe that he would have spoke to you when you were younger about the importance of.
Very much so.
You understand? And did you achieve? Do you know Terry?
That's his son.
That's his son. Okay. You just mentioned Terry. You pass it on.
I will do, yes.
And I'll say God bless him.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well done, mate.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely wonderful. And I've got 2 little stories to tell, but I've got a question first, because I noticed that there was a theme running through that, and it didn't quite. Did he like Cher?
Possible.
If I could turn back time. Every other message had a song in it.
Yeah, they do that a lot with me now.
And the reason I ask is because my guide uses songs to give me the messages for people, and you started with my guide. Speaking of which, I'd just like to say that last message was what is known by some as reverse mediumship.
I've always tried it with you.
You have.
Not online.
No. But this is the thing, and what I will say is I knew a gentleman who was absolutely renowned for reverse mediumship. And everyone used to say, oh, it's wonderful, it's one of the hardest forms of mediumship. And he always used to say, actually, I enjoy it and prefer working that way.
I just believe if the spirit world are far more aware of everything than we are, and why limit them to going, I've got a man here that used to be in the army and was a boxer and passed with throat cancer. Why not let them try something different themselves? And
Absolutely.
most of the time it works.
And I'll say something else as well. That particular medium was also friends with my guide. So maybe they're giving you a hint.
I appreciate any sort of help. Totally.
Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Quigley! Absolutely brilliant. Love it. I would just like to, because it's always, I always find that I feel a little bit unfair getting a message. So I like to share my private life with everyone a little bit. It is edited mostly. I was fortunate enough to be able to track down and find out information about my guide. So for what I can give to just demonstrate that the message that I got was proof of life, that's why I share that information. His guide's name was Cuckoo because he was a medium, and his guide's name was Cuckoo.
So you come from that straight. I didn't realise. I'm Cuckoo because I can't.
And all of what you said about knowing him in a different way to what others would.
Of course.
I would know him in a different way to what others would. And also that air of everything that he came through. In fact, while you were working, you were doing that with your ring. And that's how he used to work. He would stand there. There are pictures of him working, and the only time you ever see him work is he's standing doing that. So, you know, always watch for the little things as well, because the little habits that the people that connect, they will always use the medium for the little habits as well. And I think it's wonderful. So don't just listen, observe, because you can learn a lot from what the medium's doing that they don't even recognize.
Half the time, us mediums haven't got a clue.
Yeah, exactly. So for my part, my message, you could never have known anything about that, because I keep it very close to my chest. You know, my connection with my guide is my connection with my guide. He's my best friend in spirit. I don't talk about him very often. So you would never have known anything about everything you said. The connection with the two ladies, I do often wonder about that, and you gave me that. But yeah, his guide was called Cuckoo. That's what she was called, something else actually, but they used to just joke about and call each other Cuckoo, and it's what people remember her as now. And he was a medium for a very young age, and she looked after him growing up as guide and friend, and then communicator in spirit. So it was wonderful to hear, and thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And the least said about what I was doing when I first met him, the better, because you referenced that as well. But we'll move swiftly on from that now. But thank you, Martin, for a wonderful evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Martin Quigley, one more time. Friends, we are drawing near to the end of this service, but of course the service never ends. The work always continues. But when you leave this place, remember it's where your work starts, by sharing the love and the upliftment and the truth that life is eternal, and representing yourself as a wonderful human being that you are. But remembering that you should allow your light to shine brightly and never hide your light under a bushel. And that is all we will ever ask of any of you, because you are unique, you are individual, you are special, and you are a bright light in the world in which you live. And please, never ever forget that. So friends, let's all remember that as we join together and say our closing prayer. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you again for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under your banner of love and hope and friendship. As we go out into this world, dear Lord, we promise that everything we do will be in love, in truth, and in light. And although we know, Great Spirit, that as we go out into this evening in the dark lights, the dark shadows of this world that represent evening, we know that sometimes we may take with us dark shadows of the soul, but we ask you to shine your light on each one of us, that those shadows may be dissolved. And of course, we ask for healing and upliftment for the world, for the animals, and for our fellow brothers and sisters who live on this spinning magnetic ball of rock. And of course, we know that even though life is difficult, we ask only one thing, that you do not move the mountain, but do give us the strength to climb. And so I ask for a blessing in that spirit to be placed on each person here present, and the friends and the families that they represent, and everyone who hear these words, be it through ear or through speaker first. We ask that your love shine brightly upon each person until we meet again, which will be in your name. Amen.
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 Well, friends, the kitchen's going to be open in a minute, so do stay for tea, coffee, and a chat. But of course, now is the time when I hand over again, because it's prize winning time. Get your raffle tickets ready. So I'm now going to hand over to Sam and Hannah and Henry, and of course, young Bully, as we say. Get your tickets ready and keep going. Perfect. So, over to you.
787.
787, like the boat.
872.
872.
Seven, 8,
780.
780.
You sure?
Oh,
7, 8, 2.
Somebody's telling you to come and get something.
Come on, Steve.
That's me, Tom.
He's been told.
And you have been told.
He's meant to get something.
it was optional.
I love
7, 7, 0.
770. Oh, what are you having? Pick something, Jack.
Go with this.
Right. 7, 7, 6.
776.
Anyone?
Right, go on.
Right.
7, 9, 8.
798. 798. Hey. This is a set.
Now, what time is it, Hannah?
Damn it.
I'm coming, Johnson. That's how bully feels, is it?
First prize
Bully special prize.
is 805.
805.
805.
Me.
Hey.
This encaustic art a la Hannah is Bully's special prize. A spirit message in art form. There you go, everyone at home. She is available for commission. If you look at it, if you hang the different lights, there will be messages in there for you. Might even tie in with what happened tonight. Well, friends, that concludes the evening and the service. It goes without, of course, saying, but I say it anyway. Thank you all for your support, your attendance, your good cheer, and your upliftment. Thank you, of course, to Sam and Hannah, Bully and Henry. Thank you to Jack on the piano and the keyboard. The computer. Thank you, of course, to our camera lady and kitchen worker-upper, Mandy. And if you want to buy a mug with the church logo or a coaster with the church logo, see that lovely young lady there. And of course to Mum, looking after the doors and the kitchen. But of course it goes absolutely needing to be said. A big thank you to our medium for this evening, Martin Quigley! And to thank you and all of you at home for your support. May the peace of the Great Spirit go with you all. But until next time, good night, God bless, and hit it maestro.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.